Live from the chicken wing capital of the world, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to the Child Care Bridge Podcast, your source for the best tips, tools, and tactics on how to market and grow your child care center, ensuring total domination. Total domination. This is the Child Care Bridge, and this is your host, Michael Tasner.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 007 of our show. Today's episode is going to focus on the different things that you can do during the course of the rest of this year, and then in subsequent years. This is going to be part one in either a 3 or possibly 4-part series. Now, as the year starts to wind down, there's a tendency for child care centers to kind of slow down a little bit. And the downside to starting to slow down is that as the seasonality kind of goes up and down, and there's obviously your peaks during the course of the year, one of the biggest peaks that we see every single year is that January and February. So if you start to wind down, and great, now you've got your groove of kind of fall enrollment, and most of you are enrolling during the course of the year with open enrollment, but it doesn't mean you're going to have that huge jump that you typically experience in August, September, and maybe a little bit into October. So traditionally, the next couple of months usually are a little bit quieter. And typically December is a very, very quiet month. A lot of families aren't kind of switching childcare centers. If they're moving to the area, that's a different story. But you're typically not seeing a lot of that switching that you normally then do see in January and February. So if you were to kind of take your eye off the ball the next couple of months, and rightfully so, it's been a stressful year for a lot of owners of childcare centers, it might give you some short-term relief, but then you miss again those couple of great months at the beginning of next year and all the years thereafter. So I'm going to give you some activities, some exercises, some tasks, some strategies, and things to put together over the next couple of months so that you're working on this whole mantra of not in the business, but you're working on the business. So these are going to be a bit more strategic things. These are going to be things that are going to tie into the 4 levers that we've talked about in subsequent episodes. So I talk a lot about what makes up what I like to call a no-joke childcare center, a serious childcare center that is in this for all the right reasons. And they're not simply in this to make a difference and make an impact, but rather to also make an impact, a difference on their lives, their families, and their pocketbooks. So there's the 4M's that round everything out. There's the 4 stages that you need to go through. And then in each of those, there's lots of other steps and parts to this entire process. But the 4M's are marketing, money, manpower, and methodologies. So a very quick recap. So the marketing side of things, you're going to find in a lot of future episodes, we're going to be very, very heavy on the marketing side. You might say, well, Michael, I need help in this area, or I need help in this area. And it's on recruiting talent, for example. I need help on hiring. I need more manpower at my center. You're going to find that marketing is that first step that will subsequently solve and then have that domino effect to start to help every other aspect across your center. With better and more effective marketing, you've got more enrollments. You can drive more profitable enrollments. You might be telling me, well, Michael, right now we're full. Okay, great. I want you to build a wait list around the block so that you can start looking at location number 2, because I would argue the next 6 to 12 months could be the best time for you to acquire another center's location or real estate or license than we're ever going to have in history. So I don't want you to stop your marketing because you're full, unless your strategy is get full and nothing else. I could also argue another point that even though you're full, are all those the best possible enrollments? What is that average tuition value? I did an episode around what to price your tuition at. It was one of our most downloaded episodes so far, and including this one, there's only been 7 other episodes because we had 000. But so far, the one on how to price your tuition has been the most downloaded. And I got a lot of, I don't want to say hate comments, but I got a lot of comments of, well, how do you charge those rates? How are you able to get, if we've only been able to get $600 for a month, $150 a week, or $200 a week, or $250? How are you able to charge $1,250, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500? And that's not just you flip a switch overnight, but it's also having that as your business strategy to know what makes up a profitable enrollment. Because a lot of centers are in this really tough financial spot. I believe that was the last episode of the one right before then, talking about this big falling out that's currently happening with federal money running out. And that is why I do believe it's going to be among the greatest opportunities of our lifetime to acquire other locations that are not going to be able to make it happen. And the biggest reason, among others, is that they haven't been able to manage the money. They weren't charging enough tuition to therefore then cover all the expenses, to build in additional profit margins, to be able to take a salary, to be able to build up an emergency fund. They didn't have any of those buffers. It starts with the tuition, but even before the tuition, it's the marketing. It's the marketing aspect that drives everything else. You have to have the attention. You have to have the eyeballs. Families need to know about you. You have to be differentiating your center from all the other centers. Now, there are some easy ways to do that depending on where you're located and your offerings. But in a lot of locations, you're going toe-to-toe with 3, 4, 5 other centers that are somewhat, on paper, very similar to yours. It's going to come down to who's got a better handle at marketing and positioning and branding and getting the attention of those families and the community. That second M is money, and that's all about controlling money, knowing what to be charging, the types of reports you need to be looking at, profit-first methodologies, and all of that fun stuff. The third M is manpower, and that's all things hiring, having an A-player staff that you are so darn excited about. Staff that allow you to take actual vacations where you're not having to obsessively look at your phone every 5 minutes wondering what you're going to have to deal with today, even though you're supposed to be down in Orlando on vacation, for example. And then that final M is the methodologies, and that is the systems, the processes, your strategies, the day-to-day stuff that makes up and rounds everything out. So marketing, money, manpower, methodologies. Those are the 4 that we are going to hone in on all of the future episodes. Now, if I look at those 4, I'm going to give you a couple things for each of those areas that you can look at deploying before this year is up. And the beautiful thing with that, again, is that you're then able to hit the ground running. You're already ahead of the curve, because if I'm telling you that I know for a fact, being in this industry for 10 plus years and working with thousands of centers across not only the United States, but across the globe, I know that they start to not shut down, but they start to get a little bit more complacent. Now, not the people that we work with, but a lot of centers start to get complacent. So if you know that's what everyone else is doing, we're going to put you in a completely different league than everyone else. So if I look at, for today, the M of marketing, what are some things that you can do between now and the end of the year, and then again, each subsequent year, to make sure that you are always ahead of the curve? Because what you're going to find is that these strategies are not going to change. The same things that I'm going to give you today on the marketing side are going to apply a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, and beyond. So the first thing that I want you to do on the marketing side of things is I want you to do a full-blown lead cleanup. I want you to gather all the different leads that you have. I want you to gather, everyone that's attended open houses. I want all of those email addresses, phone numbers, addresses, the name of the child. I want all of that on one document or in one type of customer relationship management tool. I can do future podcasts on all the different tools. We have our preferences that we've used all of them. Way back when I was heavily in the CRM industry, so I know it backwards and forwards. And we also have an offering that we're coming out with that's going to be what I would argue the best tool in the industry at the lowest price point with more features. So stay tuned. That will be rolled out in the next 30 to 45 days, if not sooner. But I want you to gather all the leads, and I want you to go through, and I want you to do a couple things. Number one, I want you to do a lead cleanup. Which families have already enrolled with you? Which families you know for a fact they have went somewhere else? I want you to see what you're working with so that maybe there's only 10 names that are left on the list. Maybe there's 200 names. But I want you to look at doing, before the year is up, a reactivation campaign. And that basically is going out to these leads and saying, hey, this is Michael with ABC Childcare. I know that you express interest in enrolling little Johnny at our childcare center. Are you still looking for care? ? And you would send that through email, through text message. You could call people and or do a voice broadcast. You could do a little video if you wanted to really get kind of creative with it. So what you're doing is you're just aiming to reactivate that list, and you're probably going to have most of the replies are going to say, I'm not interested, or I enrolled somewhere else. Great. So now you can clean up your list a little bit more. But you're going to have some families that raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm still interested. Can you follow up with me in the new year? And you're going to make sure that you mark that and that you are ready to go come January 2nd, January 3rd, and you're already calling them, emailing them, text messages, videos, lump email, so sending them something physical in the mail, that you're already on top of that. Because again, if you know that most centers, either A, they're most likely not even going to do this, so that's a whole conversation for a different day. But if you know they're probably going to wait, and maybe they're going to wait a few months to send an email and say, hey, are you still interested? You get the jump, and then you continue to send helpful, authentic emails over the course of the next few months. You're going to be top of mind come January. That's the first thing I want you to do. Lead audit, lead cleanup, and then step 2 of this process is to do this reactivation campaign. Now, I'm oversimplifying a little bit, and I'm happy to talk about kind of more of the step-by-steps, but I wanted to at least give you some broad strokes so that you could start to move that needle in the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks. The second thing I'm looking for you to do on the marketing side is to make sure that you have everything kind of flowing a little bit to where you have good content that's going out on a daily and or weekly basis on the low side. So are you actively posting on Facebook? Are you actively putting out video content? Are you engaging with your current families through a newsletter maybe once a week or every other week, as an example? Do you have a private Facebook group? What are you doing to continue to get your name out there on all of the free stuff? The word that I'm going to use on a regular basis is attention. This is all about grabbing the attention of parents and the families that we're looking to engage with, enroll, and keep as enrollments. And their attention is heavily scattered. It's on Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram. They're reading blog posts. They're reading the local news online, for example. I want to make sure that you're staying relevant, that your name and your childcare center's name is putting out helpful, authentic content on a regular basis. And I'm not talking you put one post on Facebook once a week. I'm talking, are you putting all the fun things that are happening at your center? I mean, now is holiday season. You've got a lot of fun holidays coming up. I mean, Halloween, for example, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, I mean, all these different holiday parties. There's a lot of really great content that you can be publishing to be getting stuff out there. So again, the whole goal is you're doubling, tripling down while everyone else is kind of trying to coast and go on autopilot. You're putting out more content the next couple of months than them. You're sending more emails. You're crafting a newsletter. You're putting out more stuff than everybody. So, well, Michael, how do I do that? Well, you do that by making this a priority. Making it a priority. The final thing that I'm looking for you to do, and I could give you a list of 100 things, but in reality, I know how overworked and how busy. I know. I get it. So I'm cherry picking the things that I want you to do. And this third one is going to help tee up what your marketing activities are going to look like in the upcoming year. And that's to do two different things. Number one, I want you to do what I like to call a 360 marketing audit. And that is you just being real and raw and going through all the different areas of your marketing. What does your website look like? How is your social media? How is the front entrance at your center? How is the signage outside? How are your email follow-up sequences? How's the swag? T-shirts, polos, whatever your company attire is that you're giving out. I want you to audit those different things, and I want you to start to put a list together of what are the things that, I wouldn't use the word skeleton, but what are some of those things that you're like, oh my gosh, it's just awful? Is it your website? Is it your logo that hasn't been touched in 35 years, for example, that you know doesn't look good on print or anything else? Do you have signage or missing lights that are not working and haven't been working for 6 months? What are those things that you need to clean up that are not massive projects, but they're things that you can start to clean up? Tony Robbins has a phrase. He's got many phrases, but one of my favorite phrases is progress equals happiness. Now imagine if you're walking into your center and you see something every single day and you're like, oh my gosh, it's driving me nuts that hasn't been fixed, or I haven't done anything with that. I'm looking for you to make baby steps, incremental progress. I want you to be swinging the bat, hitting singles all day, every day. Incremental progress. So make a list and go through your different marketing tactics, tools, the different things that are out there in the universe, your advertisements, anything that you have out there, and identify what are maybe 2 or 3 of those that you can clean up this year. And then from that list, you're going to start to put a bigger list that can turn into projects for next year. Maybe your entire website needs to get redesigned. It's another thing we're going to be off. We do offer website redesign currently, but we're going to be offering the lowest price option that we've ever had or anyone has. So if you need a website, feel free to comment as well. But I want you to look for those quick win projects that you know you can get done in the next 90 days, the next 60 days, 30 days, for example. And then put a couple of bigger projects. Well, we really need to look at redoing our entire welcome area to make it more inviting and make it a little bit higher end to kind of fit our academy, for example. That's not a 30 or 60 day project, but it can then serve as the framework for what you're going to do next year. So quick recap for you. First thing is you're going to do a lead cleanup, lead audit. Find all the different leads that you have, get them in one central place, remove people that you know there are already active enrollments or you know for a fact they're not going to enroll, and then deploy a lead reactivation campaign. I have never seen this campaign not generate at least one enrollment, and I've done hundreds, we've probably done thousands of these at this point. Not even probably, I know we have. I want you to deploy that campaign this year. Definitely do it this year. The second one that we talked about was making sure that your brand is staying front and center. So auditing to make sure that you're posting on social media, Facebook, all the different channels. You're actively updating your website on a regular basis. And if you're not, I want you to start getting in there and getting stuff out there. Leverage tools like ChatGPT and artificial intelligence to help write the content for you. It's insane what you can do currently. Absolutely insane. But also make sure that you're not just posting stuff for the sake of posting. Helpful, authentic, engaging content. Leverage all the upcoming fun events and make sure that you're posting things that go along with those as well. And then finally, I want you to go through and do a marketing audit. Look at everything that you've got that's out there in the universe, all your advertisements, all your social stuff, your digital stuff, your offline. Look at your center, the signage, everything, and pick 2 or 3 things that you can execute this year. 2 or 3 things you can execute this year to move that needle. And then from that list, you're going to identify 1 or 2 very big projects. You're going to shelve those. Maybe you start a little bit of a game plan, but those are then going to be saved for next year. Those three things, if you think about it, reactivating and cleaning up your lead database, posting more content than everyone else, and then cleaning up 2 or 3 of some of your marketing skeletons or things that are not working as well as they should be, that one set of activities around the marketing aspect will give you more momentum than everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Comment, like, share, give me some love, ask some questions. I am here to serve. Make sure you tune in next week. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.